everyone, and welcome to our today's webinar. My name is Alina, and I'm an Education USA advisor representing here Education USA Regional. So, for those who are with us for a long time, you already know that Education USA Regional is doing monthly webinars, and those are very useful for the students who are preparing for their application, either undergraduate or graduate. So if you are now in the preparation process or you are still researching and you're going to apply next fall, our advisors will gladly help you, and you can also find a lot of useful information on our website. We have a bunch of articles who can also help you navigate through the application process. So this month in August, we are going to focus specifically on standardized tests. We know that this is a topic that is very relevant for our students. And for our today's speaker, we also will touch a topic which is very popular among our students, which is also AP exam. So we'll have here a real success story from Javad Gasimov. Thank you, Javad, so much for joining us today. I'm more than sure that the students will have a bunch of questions. So for those who have already joined us, and I see there are a lot of you, please submit your questions in the chat. We will make sure to answer them. Before that, we also have prepared some questions for Javad, so we will finish addressing them, and we can just move to the questions that you will have for us. So Javad, I will just give you the floor so you can introduce yourself, say a bit about where are you studying currently and what is your major, and then we can just move to the questions.
Thank you very much, Alina. I will gladly answer the questions. So, my name is Javad Gasimov. I'm an international student from Azerbaijan, and I'm currently studying at Indiana University, Kelley School of Business, uh, pursuing a dual major in accounting and finance. So I'm doing those two simultaneously. Um, I started out first going to school in Azerbaijan and then applying to a boarding school in a town called St. Johnsbury. And from there, I graduated and applied to several universities, but ultimately chose Indiana University as my destination for my bachelor's. So, yeah.
Okay. Um, so why specifically you chose Indiana University's Kelley School of Business? Why was that? Did you had like a longer university list, and what was your top choices, for example?
So, I had several choices. My university from my list. I initially wanted to go to Ohio State University to pursue their finance major. I heard they had a good business school there as well. Um, and then I got all of my acceptances and denials rolled in. I got all my results. So I had to debate this a lot with friends and family over where to go. And if you look at the rankings, which is not always the most reliable metric, but I feel as though a lot of people make decisions based off of rankings like US News, it might seem like a really easy choice at first glance because the Kelley School of Business is ranked within top 10 of finance and accounting, and Ohio State is ranked a bit lower, but as I guess there was an honorable mention there. Um, but there were a lot of factors considered, primarily tuition costs and also the position I was going to be in. So I had not been immediately accepted to the Kelley School of Business. Now, it's important to really make sure that we know the difference between a college and a university. So Kelley School of Business is one college in the whole university. And I had been accepted to the university, but not yet to the Kelley School of Business, which is part of the university. So, in order to get to pass into that uh, business school, I had to earn a minimum of, I think it was B's on all of my classes for that year, and I was able to do so, and I entered the Kelley School of Business. For my choice of major, it was also again a big debate with friends and family again, and what I wanted to do. And my chief motivator was that I had done very well in economics so far. And especially after taking AP statistics and AP microeconomics, I really found that I really liked the methodology and the intersection of humanities and STEM. As someone who likes both, I really wanted something that's like the best of both worlds, you could say. I wanted something that involved both spheres, like the social sciences and the hard sciences. So while I was engaging with real world like conditions, like we had with finance and accounting, we had to like learn the methodologies that different countries that United States they use GAAP, in Europe they use IFRS, and at my job I had to take into that into account. Simultaneously, I also did my math. I did the I did statistic. I did like real work. We had to, I actually used what I had learned in class, the math part, applying it for my first internship, which was possibly the best thing I had ever experienced in that regard.
Okay, thank you. So you already mentioned that you took the two AP exams and you also took SAT.
Mhm.
So now, how did you decide to invest so much time and effort into these exams, and how much was the role that they played in your application? What do you think?
It's a good question, and I think everyone here is thinking about that. I first of all want to clarify, as an applicant, I have no idea like why I was chosen for what reasons in particular. Like because there's many different aspects of it, and there's an essay where you talk about your story. There's obviously your transcript, your grades, your extracurriculars. Um, but I will say definitely, I feel as though for many people, it's the AP scores and SAT kind of verify like your academic performance beyond the classroom. And it honestly really depends on where you want to end up. Some universities don't particularly pay attention to the SAT and AP scores for one reason or another. Some have like mandatory testing, others don't. Um, it's first of all necessary to do your research on it before like you go straight forward head first into like, okay, I want to do this exam or not. And then, yeah, anyway, so sorry, I had to do with an interruption there. Anyway,
So that
so yeah, yeah, the SAT and AP scores, right? Sorry, the mic. Yeah, okay. So going back to what I was talking about, mm, oh yeah. So first of all, research, where do I want to end up? What are they asking of me and such? And the second thing I would look into is like with the check to see if your school provides APs or if they have something different like IB or the other systems that they use, which I'm sure is completely like acceptable to many universities. Like I had gone to a school in the United States and they offered AP like AP courses, not all of them, but definitely the ones that I wanted to do. And I had done those. I earned good marks on my I earned fours on my statistics and calculus, which is it's from a 1 to 5 system. And Definitely one of the biggest questions you should really ask yourselves with APs is what how will this transfer into my college? Because um, with my AP calculus score, I was able to skip one of the required courses in my university, that being calculus. So imagine like not having to do calculus that first freshman year of university. Like it's sweet, right? That's really it's like it's great that they had that, and also like it transferred as 10 credit hours. So in university, you'll have each course offers credit hours. So you have, for example, one course that offers 3 credit hours and another that offers 1.5. Some universities take AP courses and transfer it over. So it counts as like you've taken a college class, which means if you've taken enough APs, you might graduate like earlier or um, while not having to do as many courses, which is still great. Like it's yeah.
Okay, that's impressive. And now going back to that preparation phase for SAT and AP exams, were that simultaneously? I mean, the preparation process where you made sure to take SAT before that and AP after, or was AP first?
Mm.
Can you share a bit about that experience?
Yeah, of course. In my case, yes, it was simultaneous. I had to prepare for APs and the SAT at the same time. I mean, the APs are my classes, so I was basically just doing coursework and the ACT simultaneously. You don't have to do the APs and the SAT at the same time, and I know how much like how stressful this point of life can be for a lot of students. So I kind of if I had to change something back then, I would probably not do them at the same time. Maybe I would take it like a year earlier and then do my SAPs just to avoid that stress. Um, but I had to sacrifice a lot of personal time during those days when I had to prepare for the SAT and the APs. Um, I think it's dependent on how well are you doing, like, and what's the situation. Maybe for some people it comes more naturally or something like that. I had to prepare for both simultaneously. So that was like after school, I had to, prepare, you know, and it's the SAT is an exam that it doesn't really test like your innate intelligence. I feel like anyone coming into this exam blind would not do very well in the sense that this is again a standardized exam, and so you kind of have to approach it in a very standardized way, like repetition, practice, to kind of train the brain to um, when you see the exam, you're kind of thinking, okay, I've done this before, I've tackled this before. All of that requires time and energy. Like that's one thing I'll say. There's definitely like ways you can be more efficient at it, but regardless, you will be spending time studying, just practice, not just like reviewing what you don't know, but also practicing what you know. Which again, like I've mentioned before, it ate up a lot of my personal time. It's kind of like stressful. It was a bit sad, but hey, we ended up doing both simultaneously. It worked out fine. I'm sure it will work out fine for many of you, but I recommend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our students tend to have usually the English proficiency test and the standardized test simultaneously, and it's also a very challenging time, I would say.
Mm,
Because the AP exams, you can take them a bit earlier, but those come somehow in the same period. So, yeah. But
yeah.
still, you can have the English proficiency test a bit earlier. So, that's also fine. Okay. So one of the questions that I think everyone would be interested in. So many universities are now test optional. I don't know what was the case for your institution, but
Mm.
why did you choose to submit the test, the SAT scores? We tend to encourage our students to do so. I mean, even though the institutions are test optional, we kind of also encourage them to take it in case if maybe they are applying for some STEM programs or we want to raise their chances to get financial aid. What was the reason
Mm.
in your case?
So I'll have to kind of like give background. So basically, my university did not require the SAT, though many I applied to did. And yes, it is test optional. At least so many universities nowadays are test optional, and you can choose to submit your scores. But what that means is don't think of the SAT as like the end all be all. Like if I don't submit my scores, like I have no chance of getting in. It's more kind of like a leverage thing. Like if you're not submitting your SAT scores, but you want to have a strong competitive application, you would need to compensate for that by being stronger in other fields like your transcript, and that includes course rigor. And when people say course rigor, they usually mean the APs or whatever like difficult, courses your school may have, and also the extracurriculars. So I had pretty decent extracurriculars, not like the most amazing in the world, and my transcript was also it was good, strong. Um, but I have no idea how things would have turned out if I had not done my SAT scores. But again, it's always a plus, with to create like a competitive application, you would need to think, okay, what do I need to add to my application? And so if you think your extracurriculars are strong enough, as in not just strong enough as in like I did a lot of different things in a lot of different places, but what kind of story do my extracurriculars tell? And if you think you have a good story, if you then maybe the SAT will not be as necessary for a strong application. It's honestly dependent on every person. You have to assess it for yourself. I would recommend doing the SAT regardless because it's not a particularly difficult exam. Um, these are all math skills and English skills you would probably learn by the time you enter your senior year, your 12th grade. Um, it's just practice, really. It's time and practice, energy, consistency. It's not a difficult exam. So it is a time exam, but yeah, it's time based. So I would say see if you have an application that tells a story, and the SCT is kind of like its own story. Like it shows that you have like rigor, like you're able to like study and you're like you have study discipline and you're motivated, you're driven to achieve like your goals. And it's like a certificate basically. It shows like I've done this, I've accomplished this score on the exam, and it again tells a story. That's the gist of it basically.
Thank you. I agree. I totally subscribe for everything. And yes, considering the fact that the universities have this holistic admission approach, I totally agree that if your extracurriculars or your personal statement or other part of your application are standing out, then yes, maybe in your case you would not. I mean, you cannot consider it, and if you don't want to take it, but it's not a bad thing to have that. Of course, if you
Mm.
have a bad score for it, don't submit it. But if you consider that you can do that, why not try it? Okay, the next question which I have is, I mean, we already know that the challenge was because you did that simultaneously. I mean, were there some other challenges that you found out during the preparation process?
Mm,
Maybe some things that you can notice about SAT or AP, which are super tricky and the students should consider when they are preparing.
yeah, sure. In my personal opinion, I sincerely enjoyed the APs a lot more than the SAT, in the sense that I have to be honest here. The APs, I took AP Calculus, AP Microeconomics, and AP Statistics, and they were really difficult, and I felt like initially I wasn't used to this format, and the fact that it was on such a tight schedule, like we were constantly learning and learning, and you had to be caught up, was difficult. But I sincerely, I'm so glad I learned like statistics and calculus AB, like which is there's also BC, but even just having a good foundation in calculus is just good for like life in general. Like trust me, it builds the brain, it builds like this. It makes you solve problems faster, and it's just good for life. The SAT I didn't particularly enjoy as much because it was so practice focused, and this was knowledge that I'd known so far, but it's more like quick logic, it's like solve the questions in a quick but orderly manner. And um the difficulty was kind of adjusting to a standardized exam. The exams I had, like there's exams I was doing at, like for coursework. They gave us time, and they gave us time to think of the problems, to really like delve into a dive, like, okay, how does this fit into that, and so on and so forth. With the SAT, it's more about recognizing a problem and executing like this quick logic in a way. It is still a skill-based exam, obviously, but the skills it requires are different. And if you're not used to the SAT format and you're a specific kind of person, like me, for example, it might be like, it might be a difficult transition at first. But yeah, just that was one of my difficulties with the SAT. The AP was conceptually difficult, like the concepts learning was hard. It- the SAT doing the exam practice consistently was the hard part. There are two different difficulties with this, and again, different people, some people might like the difficulty of learning. I was that kind of person. Some people like brain exercises, like doing something like the crossword or whatever, every day, or consistent schedule. So my difficulty was primarily with the consistency of it, just getting to it, doing it. It can be done, obviously, even if you're not that kind of person. Don't worry. Again, it's just consistency that's important with the SAT. Make sure with the AP exams you have good communication. With the APs, you have good communications with your teachers, because a lot of the hurdles I had was largely based on communication. I feel like this isn't talked about enough. Communication is what's happening between the teacher and the students. If you feel like you're not good enough for an AP course, like you're taking 1 or 2 weeks, you feel like this is really hard, there's no way I can do this, try to think of it from a different perspective. Try to ask yourself, what exactly is the difficulty here? Are you having difficulties at home or in the class? What's not happening? I had my first difficulties with the APs because I had like I needed to figure out, okay, I didn't understand something from the lecture, so I'll go into office hours, or like, we had like this 1 hour, session after school, like to ask the teachers, and make sure to ask teachers the questions. Make sure to ask questions a lot in APs during class. This is the job of a teacher. This is the job of you as a student. Like questions. Questions are good. So a lot of challenges, sure, but definitely a lot of them can be mitigated or solved if there's better communication. So just to summarize, two different kinds of difficulties and two different ways to solve them, with the SAT and the APs respectively. But I'm sure everyone who's dedicated enough can do it. No problem.
I agree. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask about the advices, but I think you listed all of them. And I think there was a question which I formulated, like looking back, is there something that you would change during this preparation
Hmm.
process and during the application process for your college list?
Hmm. So the mic thing. Okay, yeah. So yeah, of course. I think anyone who tells you they wouldn't have done anything differently is either well prepared or maybe like not being honest with you. This is a really like trying, like difficult time, and I can't pretend there were mistakes along the road, things I could have done better. This is a learning process, right? Um, and I respect anyone who goes through this process. For starters, I would say really around like the 10th or 11th grade, learn what the learn begin to research, do your research, you know, if there's someone in your family who's gone through this process or someone who's interested, talk to them, like figure out exactly from a very early point what universities are asking for so as to not cram everything near the 11th to 12th grade, or like the 11th end of 11th grade to beginning of 12th grade. This is a really stressful time, and if you want to avoid like many of the difficulties people have had, including me, preparation well ahead of time. Not even just like, it's not the same thing as studying for the SAT earlier. Learn the process itself and what are they asking for, like the transcripts and so on. This will really strongly benefit you, trust me. It's worth like maybe 10th grade you're thinking like I have time, or you do have time, and it's good because you're able to like stretch out your effort. You're able to like distribute that difficulty over a series of long period of time and not, at the narrow point where you're doing everything at that moment. I would have done that process earlier. I started my process in the near the end of the 11th grade, I think. I mean, the transcript, obviously, no one's saying anything, but like, it's many things. Like, no one's saying anything about that. But I mean, that's a given, basically. The transcript, you'll be doing your coursework, but think about your extracurriculars. Think about your, do I want to do the SAT given my other things and other like aspects of my application? And yeah, like the just think early on ahead. Do I want to take APs? Because it's not really just about like I have to take it's not just about taking the toughest, most difficult APs to, get into college. Like you can do that, but the big thing colleges are asking for from you, the things that people, because obviously it's people who are reviewing your applications, and people love stories. People love to hear, okay, what is this applicant trying to say with their extracurriculars and such. Like if you're someone who's really passionate about biology, AP bio. If you're really someone who's passionate about like numbers or such, like AP statistics or AP calculus, or if you're someone who's, you want to be a chemist, you have like extracurriculars, several of them. You had like a cute little chemistry project that like you put as your extracurricular or something along that sort. Like it would be great idea to take like AP Chem, for example. these are really like these are difficult courses, but if you want to do them, if you're really starting to like them, it's becomes so much easier for you and it's good for your application. It's telling a story. So definitely think about which APs do I want to take. Now, obviously, it's hard to think about what major I want. Like at an early age, you get this big decision like, oh no, what am I going to do for a long period of my life? Like, which career am I going to pick and so on. Like, just try things, see how it goes. I had a student in my class who would constantly be switching between APs. I don't know how many schools allow that, but just dip your toes in the water, see what's up. Like, and again, maybe you'll find something really interesting out of these APs. Genuinely, like this is the point of school is to learn, right? So if you really
Yes,
like learning
yes,
something,
I
yeah.
totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree here. Thank you. So we can just move now to the questions that the students have addressed in advance, and all those who are with us now, they can also submit their question in the comments box. So one of the question was, is there any point in submitting a scores if they aren't high enough? Is it possible nowadays to get a full scholarship without SAT or AP scores? And if a student isn't planning to take this, what are the best ways to demonstrate academic ability? That's a long one, so we can take it by parts.
Yeah. Excellent question. I'll pick it apart a bit. First of all, what do you deem exactly not high enough? I really, because this, a lot of the question hinges on this because, like, some people think, like, oh no, I got like a 1400 or a 1300 or a 1500, and it's not high enough for something. Like, realistically, how many students are actually getting like 1600s? It's not all of them. And not all of them are like, you know, it's like not all of the students who get into like these really good like really high tier great universities, not all of them have like 1600s. Like what you think might not be a high enough score might actually be a good score. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I mean, if you did really poorly, fine, like happens to the best of us. Um, the AP, the SAT, you can just take it again. Like there's multiple. I took it a few times. I got better scores on my last time than I did my first time. Knowing, and it gives you experience, right? You know what to expect in the test. And for the second question, is it possible nowadays to get a full scholarship without SAT or AP scores? I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Like if they really want you there, if they really like what your story or your application, then I'm sure they'll present you with a full scholarship, no problem. Like, again, it's like take into account like like are my extracurriculars like competent, like good enough to not have an SAT score or APs? Do I have like a really killer, like really fire, like personal statement because you've had like a really good life journey so far, and like the stuff you're writing is just amazing? Do I have like course rigor that's like academic difficult courses that are not APs? Take this into account. It's you have to assess it honestly, like uh, yeah, see to that. And as for the best ways to demonstrate academic ability, I mean, obviously there's your transcript, the grades. There's also the recommendation letters that some universities require. Like there's two of them from your teachers and so on and so forth, or your counselor. Like as a teacher, quickly you learn that like some students, like, maybe for example, this student like got like a B or a B plus instead of an A minus or an A plus. But when they're writing that letter, they can give them the university a personal account of like how well you've done in class. Like this student shows, for example, this student got a B or a B plus, but they've shown extraordinary promise. Like this is someone who's really talented and passionate. Maybe like, I don't know, they're one of those really cool genius kids who don't do well at school for some reason. Like, I don't know, something like that. These teachers can like give the university a personal account. This is one piece. Obviously, the transcript is like the biggest part, I'd say, of academic ability. Like, don't throw away your transcript for SATs. Please don't. Like, um, and the APs are already your transcript, so I'll count them as the same thing. So yeah.
I can also suggest, if you let me here, I can also suggest for the academic ability. I mean, we have a lot of students who would complete their Common App and they can add their honors in there. So I mean, that's also a part of, I mean, winning some Olympiads, or we're standing out, I don't know, in a project, or something like that, with more people, or I mean in a team, or yes, again, an Olympiad, or a project, a big one, that can also demonstrate a lot about your academic and talk a lot about your academic abilities. So even if you're not having your SAT or or ACT, so you're fine, definitely. Okay, we can move to the next question.
Mhm.
So that's also an interesting one. What is the difference between IELTS score and SAT score? Is it one of the most important things for portfolio? So here we need to differentiate that IELTS is the
Mm.
English proficiency test and SAT is a standardized test. So
Mm.
IELTS, I mean, you have choice between IELTS, Duolingo, TOEFL. I mean, depending on the university's preferences. And for SAT, that's also optional. Javad already was saying that there are a lot of institutions which are test optional. So, I mean, it's your choice either you want to take it or not. But for English proficiency test, you have to take it for any institution. So that's the main difference. If you
If I
want to
may
add something
add,
here, Javad.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I took TOEFL, um, um, like the mic thing. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. So I took TOEFL, which I think they don't really differentiate between IELTS, TOEFL, and Duolingo. When I did my Common App, I didn't, listed those three options. I heard a lot of people applying to European universities say they did IELTS, and I heard a lot of like students leaning towards America do TOEFL. I haven't done IELTS, so I couldn't give you like an honest um, answer as to like what that looks like. TOEFL was not that bad for me. It's all right. Like it's just quick and whatever. But yeah, it's um the SAT score and IELTS are not parallel to each other. It's not the same like exam. SAT measure is a standardized test and it measures like not just your English skills but also your mathematics. And IELTS, I'm pretty sure, is just English from what I know. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's is it one of the most important things for a portfolio. Like I mentioned before, like it might be the thing that convinces a university to um, green light say yes to your application, but it's like a puzzle piece, you know? It's like you can't it's like it's like a puzzle piece. Like you can't just complete a puzzle with one piece of it. It's many different things in a configuration. It's like many different things. A whole holistic one application and the SAT might complete it. Depends on how, you have your as was mentioned already, like your um, different extracurriculars, your Olympiads, your scores, awards, your transcript, personal statement, any additional essay questions they might ask. I heard the University of Michigan, for example, for those who are interested, has a really interesting essay questions that I think filter out a lot of people. So I don't know if they do, but the questions I've seen, like what would you do with like a white elephant or something, like from the Indian myth, I think. Yeah. Like what would you do if
Yes,
if you were gifted a white
supplementals can be
elephant?
tricky. I
Elephant,
agree. I
yes.
agree.
So
Yeah.
mm, yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next question, which is in the chat, is from Amit. My school
Mm,
doesn't have neither AP nor IB curriculum, but our school curriculum is almost at the same level in some classes, like biology. So my school counselor can give letter where she explains it. Uh, was that a question? I suppose yes. So my
yeah.
school counselor can give letter where she explains it. I suppose that's the intonation here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see.
But our school curriculum is almost the same.
Okay, so it's true a lot of schools don't have that curriculum, which in that case, honestly, um again, it doesn't disqualify you in any regard. Just work with what you have in school. Like if you're doing good stuff, like good classes, and you're showing a strong transcript and again the different pieces of the puzzle, like different things, like if you're showing that you've done well, like it's not gonna 100% cancel whatever you've done. No way. Um, can your school counselor give you a letter where she explains it? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. It's what really makes a university different from school is that like I feel like schools operate on a largely on a really big interpersonal level where like your school counselor can send you a letter to this other school and they would look at it. Universities have to take process a lot of applications. Uh so I'm not sure how much attention they would give it or not. From what I remember, every in Common App, there was an optional section for additional context. You can mention that additional context there. My school didn't have AP nor IB curriculum. Like, what are they gonna say? Like, I mean, yeah, okay, all right.
Yes, I agree. And considering the fact that AP is not mandatory, I mean, that's just totally your desire here if you want to take it or not. You can use that in your additional information section in Common App. Otherwise, you can use in that section something which is super relevant for the application. That's why we also recommend to not leaving any space in your application in Common App or even on their platforms of the institutions. I mean,
Yeah.
so yes, I mean you don't have really to explain yourself why you haven't taken. In case if you really wanted to take it and you want to explain why you didn't, then yes, it's worth to ask your counselor to submit that letter. Um, okay, we have another question here from Nicolene. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for the presentation. Would you recommend taking the AP if you'd have to travel far to the nearest test center? There's no AP testing centers in my country. I think that's for a lot of students.
That's thank you for the question, Nicolene. So this is a very real question. I feel like I really love the questions where we get to address some of the not just the abstract, what do I put in my application issues, but really the concrete issues, because obviously this is global, globally, not everyone has access to the same resources in their respective homes. Uh, So would you recommend taking the AP if you had traveled to the nearest test center? From what I can tell, the AP the AP test is mandatory. Like you need to do it. And it's not just like it's not the. I have to clarify this, especially important. The AP test is not the same thing as like the final exam of your AP course. At least from my experience, like we had to sit down like this for an exam, and that gave us the AP score, but that AP score is not the same thing as what shows up on your transcript. Like this is really, really important to take note of. Um, would you like honestly, it's I am not sure about your exact circumstances regarding nearest test centers. If your school offer like if your school offers APs but there's no nearest test center, like my class, like the classroom I took my AP exams in, like in one case it was based in the school, like it was just in a different classroom, but we took our APs there. Like it wasn't in a verified test center. Like your school should be a test center, but if it isn't, and just talk to whatever counselor or advisor just to clarify on this. So your school should be a test center, like if it offers AP courses, and if it for some reason there's something for some reason the testing center is different, then definitely talk to them, see what's up.
Yeah.
I would recommend
Yeah.
taking the AP if you like see it as if you see it as constructive to your application. Like it's not a question of like nearest test center or not, unless like there's some major difficulty. Yeah, that's what I have to say. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
What I can add here is I would recommend taking the AP exam only in the case if the student is super committed and super dedicated to it, because that's a lot of time, a lot of resource, a lot of money you'll spend during this process. So I
Hmm.
think the student should be super conscious that he will do such a long distance, and he should expect that he will have a good result for this test and not having the disappointment of getting the score that he doesn't really want. So, in case if you are really loving um, I mean, you're really loving the discipline that you are taking the AP for sure, yes. I would definitely say yes. If you are super sure about the fact that you'll have a good score, then just go for it, and don't think about that. That's my advice here, I think. Okay, so I think we are done with all the questions that we have in the chat, and we answered all of them that we had from the people who sent it before. Thank you so much, Javad. I see that the people really enjoyed your experience, and yes, I think there is one more
I
question from
believe,
Nicolene.
yeah, Nicolene said
Uh,
something.
in the AP section of College Board, it says that if the school doesn't offer AP, you can self study and take the AP test in the nearest AP test center. That's correct.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense. So, yeah, I stick to my words. So, yes, if you really
Yeah,
think that
definitely.
you will stand out and you'll have a good score, go for it.
For
Yeah.
context, my school offered AP courses. So if like obviously I had to show up to class, right? So like a self-study thing would require like more discipline. So to keep that into account, like do you really love what you're learning here? Like you can go crazy over it, or are you the kind of person to like be kind of systematic about things, doing things consistently? Like, um, yeah, nearest AP test center. I wish I could offer you more advice on that, but it's just I took it at my school. Um, check to see like if your country doesn't have an AP test center, like you can travel like Like I had one friend travel to Austria for their exams, like, you know, take into account like your schedule, your availability, your ticket prices, how confident you're feeling about the exam, how, going ahead, how confident you would be with the self-study, and take things at your own pace, like definitely. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Good
Mm.
luck, Nicolene, if you're still deciding yourself to take it. I mean, I know it's not easy, so good luck
Mm.
with this.
Good luck. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think it's not gonna be that far, I suppose, from your country. I get that you're from Central Asia, I suppose. So I think in Central Asia there are many APE centers. So I hope it's not that far from your home. Okay, thank you so much once more, Javad. For
Yeah,
all
of
those who
course.
still will have questions after watching this recording, please submit them in the comments. We'll make sure to answer them. And yes, and if you'll have questions for Javad, let us know. We can maybe put you in touch with him, and he can also share his best practices and from his experience. Um, Thank you, all of you who have watched us today. I really hope that this webinar was useful for you. And stay tuned for the rest of the webinars that we have prepared for you during August. Subscribe to all of them so you'll get a notification when the webinar comes up and starts the live. And thank you once more for joining us today. Thank you, Javad.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Alina. This was amazing.
Thank
Would
you.
love to help out anyone else. Just like comments, or I'm absolutely willing to answer any questions. So this was lovely. Love to chat about this with any of you. Like, feel free, no problem. I know as a student, like I can relate on a deeper level to things, and like I can't promise I can answer everything to the best of my ability, but I can promise I will answer everything to the best of my ability. But like then again, my experience was one of many. And with this kind of thing, of course, talk to people. No one's alone in this. Yeah. So, get a good grasp of it. This was lovely, and this was a lovely experience. Thank you very much for hosting me here. Yeah.
Thank
In the
you.
future,
Have a
and
great evening, everyone. Thank you.
have a great evening, everyone. And have a great evening, Alina. Mm.